Fire away, guys.
Jeff, what's the biggest frustration after a game like that?
Biggest frustration. I think just the fact that we're just not competing real hard. Yeah, I think that probably as much as anything. And, with a young team, you sit here and you go, is it because they're, more is being put on them? Different, whether it be different offenses being ran and they get a little confused, so they slow down. But just, then it gets to some individual things of, we got beat off the bounce all day long individually. So, that has nothing to do with, being slowed down. That has to do with you competing one-on-one with that player. And so, I can go on and on. Offensively, I don't like anything we're doing right now. We got major issues offensively with we have zero attack right now. Today the attack was we had to go to high ball screen just to get any kind of offense right now, and obviously we didn't shoot the ball very well, but there's a lot of reasons why we're not shooting the basketball well.
And then kind of a game as physical as that, with as many as fouls as that, how much more difficult does that make trying to get any kind of consistent offense going?
Well, yeah, I don't know how many charge calls there were today, but there was a bunch. And agree or disagree, if there's somebody in there, there's maybe some opportunities out, so we're not seeing those things very well. We had, we think Harad's probably our best defender, so that put us in a tough spot. We were trying to Spicer, Foy. Tess played extended minutes. We put her on a forward at one point. We just, foul trouble kind of limited what we could do.
And then even with that, Ramaya has 14 points, career high for her. Obviously, the problems are still there, but what did you think about how she individually did?
Yeah, I think she's improved in practice. She's getting better position down low. So, we've been asking her to do that. She had some advantages there today, and I thought she had a solid game.
You talked about your offense, but in the fourth quarter, they were almost 50% shooting, and half of their field goals were from three-point range. What are your thoughts on your defensive play in that final period?
I have a lot of thoughts, none for print or video. So it's pretty bad. That was bad defense all the way around. And it's a bad defense all the way around. We on our heels, late to plays. You could, in a game like that, you could feel the confidence building from the other team. They're getting the drive, so we get sucked in a little bit on the drive. Then all of a sudden they're banging a three down. We start to question, do I go help? And so I just felt like that we weren't dictating anything. They were obviously finding really good shots, and to their credit, they were making most of them. And they make the final one. And they didn't do much to get that one either. They didn't do much to get it. It's not like we got confused on a set or something. They tried to attack baseline. Gina shut it off pretty well and kicked it back to her girl, and there wasn't much to it really.
And then Taryn mentioned that one of the bigger things that you talked about to them after the game was just improving buy-in and improving effort, I guess. What from your perspective, what is the biggest thing that needs to change on that end?
Well, it starts with most coaches are going to say, well, it starts with practice, right? And what I would tell you is that we're still not in a place in any area where I feel like we're competing together. We have moments, but we got a lot of players that are still, they're young, they're worried about their game, right? They're worried about what they have to do. They're worried about how they can play better individually. And I don't think it's uncommon, but when you get into practice, it should be us 5 versus the other 5, or a 3-on-3 drill. And I haven't felt like that was the way it was in any lineup. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not happening enough, you know? So if you and Taryn's got to be better. She didn't start today because of some of that in practice. I mean, she's the returner that I expect more out of her in practice. I expect more of an influence in practice. It's not all the same, right? I expect Foy to, you know, she's in year 3, so I expect more from Tess Heel. Expect more from those that have been there and done that, and right now we're not getting enough of that.
And speaking of experience, you're missing Nastia right now. With her gone this week, are you missing something special or important that could have really helped you today?
Well, Nash is a good player, but I mean, it's so different than players are going to miss because of an ankle injury. Players are going to miss because of whatever, and you know, we need to be more of a team than that. You know, that we can cover up that. Now today specifically, Harad getting in foul trouble didn't help us, because those are the 2 that are the most versatile defenders, so we can move them to a problem. And Harad was so limited, we couldn't do that today. So there was certainly a game aspect that challenged us. I think more from the defensive end than the offensive end. So yeah.
And that last play with 1.6 is in the hands of Gina. Is that what you're wanting, and they just clammed down on the baseline and couldn't get a clear shot?
Yeah, well, we wanted to get two opportunities. Tess or Taryn coming off of action, and Taryn was coming the second. And I'm sorry, I said Tess. Gina or Taryn. Tess had the ball out of bounds. Tess thought Gina had what we wanted. Gina just got too deep and got buried up underneath. But you know, yeah, that was, I mean, it was okay. It was okay.